In the tunnel.
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel, episode number 89. Uh
Maybe the longest hiatus we've ever had.
yeah. So,
We do a hiatus, but we did a hiatus, and then now we're back.
I guess we just let's just jump into it, huh?
I don't think we really have anything else that we need to do.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the playoffs first, right? So, on the east side, the Islanders are playing the Lightning right now as the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals. Um, the first game was pretty good. I only got to watch the first like half
Wait,
of the
they
game.
already started that series?
Yeah, they started this year.
This is what Islanders and Lightning, right?
Yeah, Islanders Lightning. The game. It was a 3 o'clock game today.
Oh, today.
Yeah,
Let's see what happened. The
yeah. So
Islanders won 2-1.
yeah, I only got to watch the first like half the game, and nobody scored in the first half of the game. So
I mean, it's just gotta be really boring to root for the Islanders now if you're a casual fan because I don't know. You think the best way to grow the game is with scoring, and the Islanders are still living in that era where they don't want anybody to score.
but I
And
mean,
then
like,
it's lightning down, which is, offense is their bread and butter.
yeah, but like on the flip side, right? Like a lot of the Islanders players have been stepping up. Like you have JG Pajot, and then like I'm watching the Islanders because they have 3X Devils on there.
Yeah,
Um,
trust me, I know. I know why you're watching the Islanders.
but at the same time, like I don't think the Islanders have been keeping the scoring low, but they've had a lot of chances. And in that first game, like both teams had possession, were able to make plays, but weren't converting for a while. So that's just the goalie standing on their head at that point.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what you get with Vasilevsky, and then what Varlamov was probably top five this year.
Yeah,
So
and
it's,
it's
this is exactly what it should be.
yeah. I think like the playoffs this year, like most of the series have been good. We'll just not count the Avalanche and the Blues series. Uh, in that general statement,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
but even the others, like I don't think like they really were bad or like one team completely like over dominated the other, like the Avalanche and Blues series. But
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm above everything else. I know this is a little bit out of what you were talking about. That it just really bums me out that the Canadians are where they are.
but at the same time, you know that there has to be a Canadian team in the semifinals, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just it has to be this Canadian team, huh?
Well, I mean,
Everything that could have happened, this had to be it.
to be fair, like what was the other Canadian team?
Well, I mean, we all thought it was going to be either Edmonton or Toronto.
I really thought Winnipeg could have taken it, but
Yeah,
once
but Winnipeg in the regular season didn't want anything to do with even finishings.
but that's the thing. Like Winnipeg in the regular season, and I feel like Winnipeg in the playoffs are just different.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Uh,
Especially now that Patrick Line isn't doing everything for them.
yeah,
I mean, seriously, what was the team without Patrick Line and Mark Scheifele?
yeah, nothing.
And now, I mean, was the Mark Scheifele hit really kind of the funeral for that team?
Yeah.
Do you think?
But
Makes
also
sense
at the same
over
time, like,
4 games?
what is the Oilers aside from the Connor McDavid show that does like?
Well, aside from that line, I mean,
It,
yeah, they don't seem to grasp the whole theory of you need to have good goaltending too. It's
yeah,
like now that it's not Mike Smith, let's put Koskinen back there. Is like again, and it's the same thing with the Maple Leafs too. It's like Frederick Anderson, and then like some no name. Is like how many of these guys that are like average at best are you going to trot out there and be like, this is a squad that can get it done. And the fact that the media jumps on it too, like this is a squad that's going to get it done, is like, yeah, because if they weren't winning with bad goaltending before, the fact that the guys who are not goaltenders are doing really good, but the goaltending is still average makes it so much different now.
yeah. But see, the thing with the Toronto and the Oilers, right? Like in Edmonton, you literally have a one line show. Whereas in Toronto, I do feel like most of their offensive, like their forward lines, at least two of them can show up. I really don't feel like when you watch the Maple Leafs, it was only like, oh hey, only Matthews line is doing something, or you know, at least for the forwards, I think they have it more figured out than the Oilers.
Yeah, but their defense was not very
Their
good. They
their
lost the
defense
playoffs.
and their goaltending are not it.
This
Yes,
is
I
the thing
agree.
about if you overload and make one group look really good, then it exposes other groups. The Penguins had the same problem for years after the Stanley Cup wins. It's like you overload on forwards and your defense looks like crap, and then you lose in the playoffs, and it's like, well, what are you going to point at? Defense. And then you overload on defense, and then what are you looking at? Bad goaltending. And the cycle kind of continues. You'd rather kind of have just like an average third and fourth line
Yeah,
and just have balance everywhere else.
but like, so I really feel like for the NHL at least, you want solid first two lines and average third and fourth line, right? And then in defense, you need a solid first pairing, defensive pair, right?
Mhm.
But then you just need decent enough defensemen. And then goaltending is quite obvious. There are only two of them. Make sure one of them is really good that can carry you into the playoff.
Yeah, for real.
It's a lot harder said than done, to be honest. But like, it has worked, and it's continuing to work.
Yeah. It's almost like defense actually does help to win.
Yeah, one of the
Who would
few
have thought?
sports that's left.
Yeah, but the weird thing about hockey is very much like you can be a wizard with stick handling and shooting, and it not matter at all.
Yeah,
And you score the exact same number of points as someone who just kind of like shoots it and gets lucky.
yeah.
And it kind of puzzles me why more teams don't be like, well, a shot is something. It's like just throw it anywhere near the net. It's like there's always going to be deflections.
Yeah, but I
And for
mean,
some reason, I will never understand this theory that spending a minute and 25 seconds on the power play trying to generate this perfect shot, and then you end up taking like only one or two shots in a whole 2 minute power play instead of being able to generate any kind of momentum by just shooting and getting, anything near the net. Is like I'd rather have 70% of the shots get to the goaltender and the 30% that otherwise would be blocked get near the goaltender instead of just, trying to find this picturesque shot where there's like no lane to shoot or where the shot goes through nobody, which is like in theory 5-on-5 or 5-on-4, whatever it may be, is still hard enough because the defense is trying to get in the way regardless. So you're looking for this opportunity where there's going to be nobody between you and the goaltender. And it's like, well, then the goaltender just has like the best
yeah.
eyes on the situation and stops it.
I really feel like more players should just take those dirtier kind of shots where it's gonna deflect off so many people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, shoot it into somebody's leg and let it deflect and carry them around, right?
Well, I think the weird thing is when it comes to time for the playoffs and like everybody's playing defense just a little bit harder if they're smart, is you actually see more defensemen scoring goals. Why? Because they're the ones who just kind of blindly shoot and then it deflects.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it seems like a working philosophy.
But I think like at least in the East, right? You have the Islanders and the Lightning. The Lightning with Victor Hedman, right? They can't kind of do that, but it's still mostly a rotating offensive core. Like they like to move the puck around a lot.
Yeah.
And then the Islanders, they are like Matt Barzal is like a pretty easy sign of what the Islanders are, right?
Yeah, so look, man, I understand that the Islanders beat the Penguins in that series. Every time I've seen, not just this year, but in past years, I don't get what the hype is about Barzal. Because every time I see him against the Penguins, he doesn't do shit.
But the thing, I'm not saying like hype. I'm just saying the way he plays is the way the Islanders play.
I guess, but yeah, if that's how the Islanders play, then what does that really mean about what Matt Barzal is?
Yeah,
I
true.
thought this guy was supposed to be the next Tavares. If the
No.
only thing he brings is intensity, but he doesn't bring a stat line, then
But
is this guy really going to command anywhere near that money in the future? I don't
I
think
think
so.
I think that people saying, "Oh, this guy's the next X or Y," are just too
I mean, but is
too
Matt
out
Barzal
there.
like really a first liner at his peak?
Barzal,
Yeah.
I think he can. I think he's a first liner. I think
I
he
think
takes
he's
more
kind of
setup. Like he
that is more second. Did it cut out again?
no, just your camera.
Back. Did it cut out?
No, you're good. But anyway, I think that Barzal, like, it's like Ovechkin is a great player, but you need the one guy around him that can set him up, right?
Comparing the greatest goal scorer of hockey's history to
But
Matt Barzal now.
no. But what I'm saying is that Ovechkin needs a certain type of player to set him up. Somebody who's going to also command attention that'll let Ovechkin have some freedom, right?
Yeah.
Barzal's not like that, but I say that if he has the right pieces around him, he could be a first liner, not nowhere close to Ovechkin. I just used Ovechkin because he needs. It's an easy example.
I mean, let's also look at the fact that Barzal is already 24 years old. Like,
yeah, but I mean,
yeah, that's young for hockey,
but also like if you look at
old for what is considered to be, not realizing the potential.
But I mean, just go look at Pavel Zacha having his best season.
I guess.
And he's older, right? I don't necessarily like the age argument too much. It has merit, I agree, but I don't like going to it too much.
Well, his shot percentage is also hovers around 13% or lower. Last year it was 11, the year before 10.
Yeah.
So he doesn't shoot a lot.
Yeah, he's more of that problem. He's more of the finesse guy.
Yeah.
Which is the problem. I agree.
Well, let's...
Because Tavares is not even that type of finesse guy. Barzal is like a pure finesse player.
Well, my curiosity then becomes who's on the Barzal line. Barzal, I guess, right now currently is playing third line with Eberle and Komarov.
Yes.
Eberle can score the puck, Komarov cannot.
But Komarov can move the puck.
Yeah, but that's what Barzal's supposed to be doing.
I know.
How many movers and shakers do you need?
Yeah. It's like whatever. I think the rest of the team around, like, you don't, like, the thing is, the Islanders don't need Barzal right now to be good. I think the rest of the team.
If he's on the third line, then they definitely do not need him to be very good.
Right, but that's a testament to like the moves they did to pick up players, right? Because if they don't have like a couple of those moves, he's on the second line, no doubt.
Yeah. Although I think it's weird that they did not know that Pageant was first line good.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. Like Pajot, I think Pajot is a third liner because he's very streaky in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean,
Right now,
it's also just themorningpuck.com. I could be wrong on this, too.
but
Like, it could be, just different.
I mean, Pajot, like, he's playing first line good right now. His play right now is first line good, but I think most of the time his play is like third line, bordering second.
I would agree with that. All right, anyway, enough with the Islanders.
All right, you want to talk
On the
about
other
it?
side, we have somehow Vegas and the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, we know about the Canadians already. But...
Also, I just wanted to get into because it has been a month and a half since we did episodes. We went from last episode not understanding how the playoffs are going to work in Canada to pretty much like they just stopped the season and said, "All right, whatever, just start the playoffs. Everybody's starting at the same time."
yeah,
And now we still have no idea how exactly, like, if the exemption was granted.
the exemption was granted.
Okay.
I did see that in the news.
Okay, and well, that's good. I guess they did have to kind of wait on which teams it was going to be before, or which team it was going to be before the exemption was truly granted. But I don't know. This is going to be weird, but thank God it doesn't have to be like, wait.
I
Like,
mean,
imagine if the series took 3 weeks on the, you know, Western side, and then whoever wins the series between the Islanders and the Lightning is just kind of like sitting there, getting rusty. And then if the Canadians move on, of all things, that would be the most wrong morally thing to have the Islanders just sitting there waiting for whoever it was. I don't know.
yeah, but like, I mean, Canada should be happy. They have somebody in the semifinals basically because it was forced. But
Yeah. Yes, Canada's lucky that because I mean Canada has not had a team go this far in a while. I think
it's been a
Vegas and
long
Winnipeg.
while.
Vegas and Winnipeg. That was conference final, I think.
Oh,
It was 18 or 17.
I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of tough. We'll finally see what a Canadian team against a West team, I guess, will look like. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll change
It
much.
also be, it's also interesting because the Canadians are like we talked about the idea that goaltending is the most important thing in the playoffs, and the Canadians have that, but then so does Vegas, and then Vegas has the scoring too.
But also, I think, yeah, the Canadians spent way too much on their goaltending.
Oh yeah, but
I think so. I think the problem with the Canadians isn't necessarily that they don't think that they need all these pieces. It's that they thought that Price could literally stand on his head for 10 years, but he can't really.
well, playoff carry price is completely different. You pay for playoff carry price, but you don't get playoff carry price a lot.
Until you get the rest of your team to
That's a
get you to the
flaw.
playoffs, dude.
That's a flaw in the negotiations. Is like, is Carey Price going to be able to stand on his hood in regular and postseason? Is like, well, you kind of forgot the fact that you have to get to the postseason.
An 82 game, or in this case, 56 game run to the postseason.
Whatever it was. That and Carey Price is now 33, which is about a year away from where the Penguins were when they gave up on Fleury.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, Fleury still has, or had some years left in him.
Yeah, but nobody knew that.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I'm just saying, like, I do think that, like, 34 is still kind of early to give up, or completely give up. I understand, like, moving on. Like, Fleury and the Penguins had been a thing for years. So I understand that one. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Good to see some international hockey, I guess.
Yeah. Again, forced down our throat, but
Yeah.
I mean, Vegas is basically international waters in some respects.
Oh, if only. All
I
right.
mean, the sports world kind of treated it like it didn't exist until the Knights were there.
Mm-hmm. Now, what you have the Raiders, and
Yeah, but do the Raiders actually count as being a Vegas team?
that they play in Vegas now, right?
Yeah, but they've had 0 games with fans in Vegas.
That's a problem of the situation, not the fact that.
I mean, I don't know a Raiders fan in Vegas. Do you?
I mean, I don't know anybody in
I
Vegas.
mean, I don't know a Raiders fan in Oakland really either, but
Okay, that one I knew some Raiders fans in Oakland
it's been a while
in
since
the
I knew one, I
past.
guess. In the past, yeah. In a previous life, because a lot of them don't live long.
Oh, all right. So last thing we want to talk about for the NHL is the Seattle Kraken, right? So why don't we just take a look? You know, we're both fans of certain teams. So why don't we take a look at Pittsburgh and say, who do you think the Pittsburgh will have to, or who do you think the Kraken will pick from Pittsburgh?
The popular media choice here is it's going to be Aston Reese or it's going to be Bluger. That was the other big one. They both have third, fourth line skill, but the thing is, are they going to try to entice um, the removal of Jari and sweeten the deal? That seems to be popular after the playoff series. Are they going to try to attach a pick to say don't take Bluger or Aston Reese? And are they going to get rid of like a guy like Rust? And if they get rid of Rust, to say take Jari with you so that they can kind of move forward.
Uh,
I don't know. There's been a lot of
okay.
conspiracy regarding this one. I think that
I don't know.
after how the playoffs were, maybe if you can try to get rid of Jari, but you're not going to get a lot of cap room for a solidified goaltender if you do.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
what? Jari's cap hit's only what? Well,
Three and a
only,
half.
but it's $3.5 million. That's not that bad for a goalie.
Well, the thing is like, they're going to do the entice offer and try to get rid of Rust, and you're giving up another 3.5.
Okay.
So I don't know really where they go from there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think Bluger or Aston Reese are bad in terms of I don't think you should mind losing one of them too much.
Oh yeah, no. But the thing is, I think that there's only going to be so much protection of top line talent because you have Gensel, Zucker, Rust, and Kapanen all in next year as well as Jeff Carter, Jared McCann.
But yeah, isn't
So you're
Tanev
not going to
also
be.
needing to be protected?
He could be protected, but he also still has 4 more years on his deal at 3.5 million a year.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm just
I
saying,
don't
like,
think he's going to be taken.
yeah, fair enough. And you have to protect the people with no movement clauses anyway. So that's
I don't know. It's Crosby and Malkin.
Malkin, Letang, and Crosby.
Yeah. Yep. And now let's go to the Devils. I'm pulling up the list here now. So the Devils have
The Devils have
0
a
players in the
hard time, dude.
Honestly, PK Subban ain't going anywhere. You guys are stuck with that guy.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I know, but
You
it's
guys
one more
have
year.
0 players with a no movement clause. Yeah, but he's got a $9 million
Oh no,
cap
no.
hit, man.
Well, I'm saying we're stuck for one more year.
Yeah.
I get, but yeah, we have no players with and a no movement clause. Um, so it's gonna be tough. I mean, we have to protect Blackwood. Uh, that's kind of
Yeah.
obvious. We're obviously not protecting.
It's also important to point out Jack Hughes and was it Nico Heischer is going to definitely be protected.
Yeah.
But Jack Hughes is exempt.
Jack Hughes, Boquist, they're both exempt.
Boquist, Mercer, Thompson, Foote, Zetterlund,
Yep.
Maltsev, I can go on, but
Yeah. They're all exempt. But like as far as who we're probably protecting, it's like Miles Wood, Brad, maybe McLeod.
Miles Wood.
Huh?
Just why are you protecting Miles Wood?
I don't know, like, but who else would you protect?
Isn't he an enforcer?
Yeah, but who else would you protect on the Devils? Like, come on, tell me. You're gonna protect
somebody who actually has more talent. Oh, he does have 17 goals on there. Never mind.
Like, you're probably protecting like Saka, Wood, Brad, and McLeod maybe, and then you're probably protecting like Severson and Butcher.
Hear me out here. I say you don't protect Wood.
Okay.
He just had a career high in goals with 17. He did not, or actually second highest. He had 19 in 2017-18. But if that's his feeling, then you get rid of him now while you have the chance.
But I mean, he has 1 year left. I think he still fills his role. Like the problem is
a restricted free agent.
But the problem is, right, if we drop him, we don't have Zajac anymore. Like,
I mean, you guys are deep in a rebuild.
Yeah, but we still need to show up. Like, come on, like, who else are you gonna protect? Like, you're protecting Severson and Butcher, you're protecting Blackwood, you're protecting Heischer, you're protecting Brott, and maybe Zaka, right? Those are like not even 10 players.
Yeah, maybe you can get rid of Joel Quenneville's son.
Huh?
David Quenneville, isn't that Joel Quenneville's son?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, we're not going to protect him.
He's in the ECHL, I guess.
Yeah, it's like...
Oh, that's a bummer.
AHL. Yeah, like, there's literally nobody else to protect. So, I really don't see it mattering too much. Like, maybe you want to protect Sharangovich, but he's an RFA after the end of this year anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So why would you?
Breaking news, not Joel Quenneville's son.
Oh.
Anyway, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, like, I just don't see anybody else you would protect over Wood, right? Because you have to hit, what, it's like 7 forwards?
Get it?
Anyway. Yeah, so, like...
Anytime I get it, put your head down.
Anyway, like, who else? Like, I don't get it. Like, you have to protect a certain number of players. And we're deep in a rebuild, so what, are you going to take one of our pieces that we're still rebuilding with anyway?
I guess.
Like...
Yeah, I don't know. Which is the deepest position pool that you guys have to actually be able to get rid of somebody without it hurting?
I mean, we have, like, the problem is we need to protect the, like, Butcher and Severson. Otherwise, our defense just dies, right? And then, as far as, like... So you're gonna have to protect one more defenseman, which could be, like, Carrick or Ryan Murray or whatever. So you have to protect 7 forwards, right?
It was the same as Vegas, which I thought was 7. Yeah,
7. So you're protecting Heischer, Wood, or in my protection, you're protecting Heischer, Wood, Brott, Zaka. That's 4. So then you're probably gonna protect McLeod. That's 5. What the hell else are you gonna do? And I think those pieces are the rebuild. Like, at least, like, Heischer and Brott, you probably want for the rebuild. And then Hughes is already not exempt, right? Boquist is exempt. you still have like a few other AHL forwards that you can give a chance to, and we're rebuilding, so why not, right? So, I mean, the Devils don't need to go out of their way to protect like anyone with a trade or whatnot anyway.
All right, so while we're out at this, let's roll through some mock drafts that we've read. Just see who people are saying, I guess, would be in a position to be picked. So this comes via Pacific Northwestern Sports. They look at potential goalies that could be picked for the Seattle Kraken as being Jake Allen from Montreal, Casey DeSmith from the Penguins, even though there's only got a year left, Samuel Montembalch from Florida, which I guess he's expendable because Spencer Knight is up there with Bobrovsky at this point.
Okay.
Keith Kincaid, the backup for the Rangers, and Malcolm Subban. The thing to note here is a lot of these are backups.
These the thing is, right, I think if you look at it, right, I think Keith Kincaid, even though he's a backup, is more like a 1B. I think you can put Kincaid in like 35 to 40 games and he'll still do okay. So if you're looking like
saying, like, Vegas obviously was lucky they got to pull a former All-Star as a goaltender.
Correct.
I'm just saying the pot's not going to be, or I'm sorry, the pool isn't going to be as deep this time around in terms of goalie talent.
Right, but what I'm saying is you can probably find a 1A, 1B situation or give a goalie that kind of chance, right? And I only used Kincaid as an example. In these, right? Like, you could find this kind of like 1A, 1B in terms of goalies for not too bad of a cap hit, but that doesn't really matter.
The defenseman, they have Tyson Barrie from Edmonton, Nathan Beaulieu from Winnipeg, Josh Brown from Ottawa, Eric Cernak from Tampa Bay, Dante Fabro from Nashville, Hayden Fleury from Anaheim, Jeremy Lawson from Boston, Scott Mayfield from the Islanders, Philip Myers from Flyers, and Marco Scandella from the Blues. With a potential pairing of Scandella, Barrie at 1, Lawson, Cernak, or Myers at 2, and Beaulieu, Mayfield, or Fleury with Fabro.
Yeah, I think Scandella is a great pickup. Like, if you just get Scandella and maybe Barrie, you're set. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but that would be Tyson Barrie being an unrestricted free agent. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I guess he's going to be projected to, get a big chunk of the pot if they're paid. But this is the opportunity for
Scandella can pair with, like, you don't have to put Barrie there, right? It's probably a good choice if you give him enough, right?
Well, Tyson Barrie also being 29, is he going to take less than a long-term deal at his age?
Yeah, true. I see that, yeah.
So you got to be confident in your ability to negotiate down as a new franchise.
Right.
Because, I mean, maybe he takes a 1-year deal because if Seattle doesn't work, in the first year and they're not a strong contender, then he has the ability to go somewhere else.
I think that there's no way Seattle doesn't at least compete in the first year. I'm skeptical about year 2 and after, but because
we thought that about Vegas too, but we also thought that Vegas wasn't going to compete in the first year.
But with the way Vegas worked out and how the expansion draft worked, I think that Seattle can put up a respectable showing.
Oh yeah, I do
with
too.
Using past experience as our guide. right? They don't have to necessarily be exactly like Vegas, but I don't think they're gonna like flounder out at the beginning. But yeah,
On to forwards. So they're saying Michael Backlund of Calgary, even though he's got a $5.3 million cap hit for the next 3 years. Andres Bjork from Buffalo, Ryan Donato from San Jose, who was RFA. Pierre Engvall of Toronto,
mm-hmm.
Radek Vaska, Dallas, Luke Glendening, Detroit. He's going to be a UFA. Let's see here. Jordan Greenway from Minnesota, Carl Grunstrom of LA, Gabriel Landeskog of Colorado, which we'll see. That would be
That's a
that's a tough
yikes,
pull, but
dude.
I feel like there's your Colorado trading picks to
Yeah,
not let that happen.
yeah,
I think Colorado would probably trade a whole draft class to not let Landeskog go that easily.
yeah.
Johan Larson for Arizona, Nino Niederreiter of Carolina, TJ Oshie with his $5.75 million cap hit for the next 4 years of
See, I
Washington.
don't think that's bad. Like, if you just pick one guy with a
Yeah.
high cap hit, like that, you're going to
Yeah.
need it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but at 33, that's a lofty for a 33.
But you can at least build around it.
Yeah. Pavel Zaka, Jersey is the projected.
Yeah, there's no way they're gonna protect him, dude. Like, we went through the forwards, right? Who the heck?
Yeah. Just reading. Columbus, Eric Robinson, and Antron Roussel from Vancouver. They have the projected lines as Landeskog, Backlund, and Oshie, which would be good if that was realistic.
Yeah, but that's not realistic. That's $15 million.
Yeah. Niederreiter, Zaka, and Greenway is the second line, which is a huge drop off. Donato, Foxwell, and Roussel, and then either Robinson and Gunstrom, Larson, and Glendening.
Yeah, I still don't think like there's no
It's
way
not
that the Devils
realistic.
aren't protecting
No,
Zaka.
of course not. Yeah. So yeah, come to the comments of this. Someone said Landeskog, dream on. You're not taking our captain. You would take a team friendly over leaving the Avs 100%. And I think we would all be on board with that. And so this is why we pull up the first Googled mock draft because it may not be the most credible.
Definitely not. All right. Yeah, so why don't we move on to the other sport in playoffs right now?
Yes, the sport that I'm now actively involved in.
Basketball.
Basketball.
Uh
Like the way they do things.
yeah, so Brooklyn and Milwaukee, they played today. I know Brooklyn was up 2-1 in the series.
They are now tied.
They're now tied. That's what I
As
thought.
wild as it is that they made the Bucks look like absolute crap for 2 straight games, they somehow with the same team. Because keep in mind, they only had James Harden for about 40 seconds in the series, and then he exited. They somehow with the same roster were losing to the same team that they were owning by 25 and 30 points.
Yeah, so today's game, I watched a little bit to halftime, and they were only down 5 points. They were up for a bit, and they just kind of rolled away from them, so I didn't know exactly what was going on.
I don't understand because Milwaukee clearly is not playing the same attendance standards as some teams. So that takes away the intimidation factor, but yet they protected home court, and that's all you can really ask of. So
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what else to say.
Yeah. So how's Philly and Atlanta doing? Do we know?
So it's weird because Atlanta on paper should not be doing anything to Philly.
That's
But
correct.
Philly is being Philly in that their best player Embiid is hurt.
Oh.
He's still playing through it though.
Oh yeah, heard about that.
Philly either looks really good or really bad, and it's kind of at the point where I don't know if Philly can actually compete for a title because they never seem to be consistent enough to actually compete.
Yeah.
Their best players show up performing bad, and then when they're down and trying to get back into the series, they show up. But it's like, well, maybe they should just show up regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think that if Philadelphia moves on, that they're going to be able to take whoever is in their way.
Yeah.
I do also think Atlanta has played up to Philadelphia because Atlanta has made Philadelphia look bad. Atlanta's got guys who hit the three maybe a bit better than the Sixers can and put the Sixers in trying to play catch up and then kind of exploit them on the inside, trying
Right.
to, get over that hump. So
Right.
the Sixers will play the perimeter trying to get back into the game, and then the Hawks will just dump it in. So
Okay. On to the Western Conference. So you want to talk about Phoenix and Denver first?
yeah, so I mean, Phoenix has made the Nuggets look really bad. The Nuggets, who are the third seed in the West and have the MVP, it's not necessarily that they're containing Jokic either. They're still letting Jokic get his points and rebounds, but Phoenix has DeAndre Ayton, and Ayton is pretty much playing parallel to the amount of performance that Jokic is. Not
Yep.
to say that Jokic isn't getting 28, Ayton is getting like 22, but it's not a drop off. And so if it's not a drop off, you can compensate for that. You may not win by a lot, but you're winning. Uh, and they're also, Jokic, a lot of what he brings to the table is playmaking ability, but the other guys around aren't making the plays. They also have Jamal Murray, their starting point guard, hurt and out for the rest of the year. So I think at that point, you kind of look at it as an uphill battle.
Yep.
I, being a Suns fan, did not think that we would be up 3-0 at this point. But, we'll see in about an hour here when the game starts at 8 o'clock if it'll be a sweep. I think that Denver's going to bring their best game in game 5. But, their coach has also said that their team was playing soft after games 1 and 2, and their team didn't really respond. Then they gave the MVP trophy to their best player before game 3, and they kind of didn't play up to that either. It's like no matter what the energy was in the building, no matter what the challenge was, whether it be from a player or coach or whatever, they have not responded. So I
Right.
kind of look at it as, will they respond when their backs are actually against the wall, or is it over for them?
Yeah. And
Also, apparently, when you're down 3-0 in a series, in like we know that in hockey sometimes the reverse sweep happens. When you're up 3-0 in the NBA playoffs, it's 142-0.
yeah, I was like,
So
it's some crazy number.
yeah, they were saying 142-0. So it may not be a sweep, but you're basically dead.
All right.
And then going up to Utah and the Clippers. So a lot of the media thought that the Clippers were actually going to win the series. Utah won the first two, and then the Clippers did take one last night. I'm not too sure what to make of this one yet. I wouldn't write off the Clippers yet, but Paul George in the playoffs is still a mystery.
Yep.
For years, he has been inconsistent and is still inconsistent.
Yep.
But at the same time, they made it to the second round. Gobert is going to be, I think, the deciding factor. Because I do think Kawhi probably puts up just as much production as Donovan Mitchell, but at the same time, they play different positions. I do think that the Jazz has a better supporting cast, maybe not in terms of name, but in terms of skill. But
Yeah.
it's a toss up to me. I can't put anything
Yeah,
on.
my thing with basketball is like you can still make it with like two good players out of your team
Look
of
at the
5.
Suns. I mean, the Suns have a great supporting cast, but their best two are definitely Booker and Chris Paul.
No, but what I'm saying is like, in hockey, right? There's no way if you only had like 2 star players or 2 consistently performing players, like you could do much. Whereas like in basketball, like if you have 2 really good, consistently performing players, you get to the playoffs.
You probably don't get far into the playoffs.
Oh no, but it's like there's like it's kind of like a thing where it's like you can get there. I'm not saying you're gonna go far, no way, but like it's the regular season to get into the playoffs is very much like a 1 or 2 man show at the minimum. But in order to actually win, I do agree it takes a very good supporting cast.
I agree with that. I don't know. It's weird because the playoffs, and we've known this for a few years with the NBA, the playoffs in getting there is so much more downplayed now because I think in terms of actual contenders, you kind of know who they are long before the playoffs start. Rarely is a team that becomes a contender over time. It's more, kind of in the preseason, if everything goes right, this team will be the contender.
Yeah, but like let's take it back to the play-in series, right? Did any of us expect any of those teams to do anything?
The Lakers.
I certainly expected nothing.
Yeah, well, I think the Lakers. And the media loved the idea of the
But
Lakers beating
that's the
Celtics.
media trying to hype something up. Like in reality,
Well,
like maybe the Lakers are
nobody's
the
gonna
one.
bet against Nobody's going to bet against LeBron at the time. Anthony Davis was healthy, and it was the healthiest that the Lakers were.
Yeah, but
And
okay.
then Anthony Davis went down.
But my problem is out of the what was it? 8 teams in the play-in series, what one team you were like, "Oh, this team could do it." Right? Like
Yeah. I mean, there were some teams that I guess you thought that could mess things up a little bit, make a series interesting, but not to the point where they would win it.
yeah, and
I
like
did think that if the Warriors got like in, they could maybe have taken say Utah for a game or two, because I think Curry was hitting that MVP stride.
right, but my problem is like those games felt useless in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, but they almost knocked the Lakers out of the playoffs.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of things, it felt useless to me, especially because, like, aside from Phoenix and LA, I was like, the rest of these series should go to the higher seed.
Yeah.
For what team or what matches the play-in teams are playing for.
I agree with that. Well, luckily, it didn't come down to it. Suns and 6.
Yeah. All right, so that's what we got for this episode.
We are back, and we are back.
Yeah. So thanks for tuning in and catch you next time.